Welcome back to The Hook on Woodward Sports Network, Detroit's all-digital network, live from my bookie studios. We've got Dan Dickerson joining us. Dan, welcome to the show.
The Tigers radio voice. What's happening, brother?
Hey. How you guys doing?
Are you out walking the dogs?
You know what? I got to them early today. They got their nice long walk. We just got back, and they're now passed out right next to me.
Good.
Oh,
good. Tell us the dogs' names again. Remind me of the dogs' names.
We got the Golden Retrievers, Finn,
and
the Chocolate Lab is Wally.
And
so
he had Ernie
two
prior to that.
Personalities, two sweethearts.
You had Ernie prior to that. Am I correct? For Ernie Harwell?
I did. Yeah, we did. We did.
I grew up, the whatever sits here is Golden Retrievers. So I had Jake, Archie, and my dad had Max. So they're phenomenal dogs. But Double D, let's get to everything at hand. We're can't win them all if we don't win the first one, baby. And the one thing I want to say to you is I was pulling in because we did shout out to the Brass Rail Pizza Bar. We were down there. But I was driving in when you guys came on the air, and I've never heard somebody so excited
he's like a
to
little
be
boy.
broadcasting in snowy 30-degree weather when you turned to your partner, Jim Price, and said, it's good to be back. So how was it from your perspective as far as opening that window again, seeing the way everything played out, and how was opening day for Dan Dickerson?
I mean, in so many ways, this is going to go into the books as one of the greatest opening days that I've ever been a part of. I mean, it would not have been nearly as much fun if you had pictures and video of Miguel Cabrera hitting an opposite field home run on a sunny 55-degree day.
Right.
I'm sorry. Those images, that video, that moment was worth every bit of the freezing that the fans are doing in the stands. But the whole day, from that moment to, finding a way to beat Shane Bieber, the unanimous Cy Young Award winner, I think the thing that I just took away was how much better it is, how great it was to have fans back. I know we talked about it a lot, but it was even better than I expected just because no matter the number, it just fired you up to have fans in the stands.
First of all, Dan, did you have your clip-on tie on? Your little boy clip-on tie on?
No, not the clip-on tie. It's the tie that my sister gave me 20 years ago. My little baseball tie.
That's right.
So yes,
21 years in the booth.
I didn't wear it last year.
I know. I'm so proud of you. He dresses like it's first day of school always.
I love it.
He has his books under his arm. He goes with his little tie. Now he'll be in his little button-down shirts for the summer. But Dan, now I couldn't find your call. I could not find it anywhere. I wish the Tigers would put it up like they did in prior years because we heard Matt Shepard, but I wanted to hear yours. So I'll embarrass you. Can you redo it?
On that.
Can you redo it for me?
Yeah. I always take a request, Tommy.
I know. I figured I'd ask. I know it was a long shot. Hey, man, I got something to ask you, and it's a baseball rules thing. I know what a geek you are. But Bellinger's home run against the Rockies yesterday, I know you had to see it. He hits it out there. The guy knocks it over the wall. Justin Turner thinks it's caught. He runs back past Bellinger. What's the rule on that?
If the batter runner passes somebody on the bases, then it becomes a single.
So who goes on first base, Bellinger or Turner? That's what I was confused about because I thought Turner stayed on first. How is Bellinger out?
So you're saying Bellinger stayed on first?
I thought Turner stayed on first, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think the question is that we understand that.
I thought Bellinger would be on first and Turner's
would be out. Okay, but you're probably right because I heard the guy say it becomes a single. I think.
Right, it becomes a single, and that's one of the trivia questions on Harvey Haddock's 12-inning perfect game and how it ended. With, I think it was Hank Aaron passing somebody at first base, and so the game-winning hit went from a home run to a single.
Wow. We'll have to put that one in our David Hall trivia next week.
So that's all I remember is that's the rule. So what did they do? They put Bellinger on first, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I thought it was Turner, but you're probably right because I thought it becomes a single, so Turner's out. And he couldn't see the ball, obviously, being knocked over the wall. But what a way to start the season.
It wasn't because of snowflakes, though.
No, it was not. It was just plain old sunshine.
So, Double D, can you explain why why when like in that play where outfielder goes up, it's in his glove, but then he drops it over, over for a home run. We all know that. Why is that not a dead ball? And why does this happen? Or like with all the rules, the way they've changed and replays and all that, why is this still sort of seem like it doesn't belong? Because
it is an oddity, but it's always been that way. Jose Canseco used his head to boost the ball over the wall. It's just part of. I think it's, just trying to think of the origins of it. Why would it be that if you, it's been this way again for a long time. But if you go for the catch and then you hit your glove and you push it over, then you're, if you don't have that rule, then you would be left with, okay, was he above the wall? Was he below the wall? Would it not have gone over if he hadn't touched it? That takes all the equation out of it.
But there is no question.
If you can't make the catch and you boost it over, it's a home run.
No, I agree 100% with that. But why isn't the play dead when the ball goes into the stands? So where the runner's at the time,
let them continue.
Where Turner thought, where he had rounded second from first, he thought the guy caught it because he banged up against the wall and dropped it over. Retagged second, and then Bellinger's on a home run trot, and Justin Turner's running back to first. So I was just wondering.
There's a lot of logic in what you're saying. I hadn't thought of it from that viewpoint. It seems like a really kind of silly rule that should have been changed some time ago.
Okay.
The guy hit a home run.
I'm just wondering, because these are the things, one of the conversations, and you, like Tom said, is you being such the student of the game, that with all this.
I call him a geek, not a student of the game.
Sorry, geek of the game. But with these different things, there must be, if there's one rule like this where we think, okay, logically, does it make sense with their changing all these other rules and putting guys on second base and the extra innings, or talking about all these other rules? Why wouldn't they address this? I think they're missing a few in the cracks, because to me it doesn't make sense to be dead balls.
Well, I feel like it's almost the closest thing that we can relate it to would be in football when they question, did he maintain control of the ball throughout the entire process?
Completing the process.
That's another beauty of a rule.
In Chicago, don't get me started.
Please. Hey, Dan, we've already had our first case of COVID, the Nationals, and if I remember correctly, I think it happened to them last year as well, but 4 of their players, one of their staff infected, or at least came across COVID. Now they had another one added on. So the Mets Nationals series is postponed this whole weekend. What do you think is going to happen going forward? They're going to have to. 162 games I thought was too much from the beginning. What are they going to do? I know these double headers, 7 innings, all this crap. What do you think? My impression is, Tigers are all going to get vaccinated on this homestand. If it's not today, it's going to be on the homestand. But I think they're getting, a lot of them are getting their shots today, and it seems to me that the more teams, and state by state, it seems like the availability can be spotty state to state, but it seems like there certainly are many vaccine shots available. I would think most of the major leaguers are going to be vaccinated, within the next few weeks, I would think, and then because otherwise, that's a very worrisome thing. If it was last summer, you'd say, "Oh boy, here we go again," but I picture it being a very different scenario. I don't see why there's any reason why they can't get to 162 games. And I think, yes, you hear that some players may not want to take it. Okay. But I think Major League Baseball made it pretty clear that, okay, if you get it, here's a little carrot at the end of the stick. You can have much more of a normal lifestyle on the road than you had last year. You can hang out with your buddies who are also vaccinated, among many other possibilities. So whatever that resistance that you might have heard of, team to team, I hear only X percent of this team is going to get it. Guess what? I think a lot of them might change their minds when they realize how much more freedom they're going to have. It was really terrible way to start, but I just think that the more players get vaccinated, it won't be an issue going forward. They're not going to relax all the standards. There's still going to be protocols in place to keep everybody safe, but I don't think this is going to be a big deal going forward.
Dan Dickerson is joining us, radio voice of the Detroit Tigers. You can follow him on social media, Dan_Dickerson. Dan, this is my first time in Detroit that I got to actually experience. I've been here for 5 years. It was my first time experiencing opening day. And it was tamed down. It was pretty wild, but most importantly, the Tigers got a win. Now, I started jumping up and down. Am I over celebrating, or should I taper down those expectations?
Oh no, jump up and down on opening day. What the heck? The importance to me is, you beat Shane Bieber on opening day, and for the players, again, not to make too much of one game, but here's what A.J. Hinch and his staff have been preaching all along. And as he said, I know it sounds like coach speak, but the fact is, when you continue to repeat that, everybody, how many wins are you going to get? I don't know, but can I instill in my team the belief that we're not talking about X number of wins? Still instill in my team the belief that you can win this game today? Are we going to win more games than the Indians or the Twins or the Yankees this year? I don't know, but can we beat them today? Yes. The answer to that is yes, because here's all the preparation. Look at all the things they did well in that game yesterday. So when you win a game like that to start the year after all this preaching about this is how our approach is going to be, then that can have a ripple effect going forward. Absolutely. That was a big deal to beat Shane Bieber, a team that had beaten you 25 of the last 29 games and absolutely owned you for the last 2 years and for the last 4 years if you want to go back farther than that. And that to me is the significance of that game. They have very specific game plans. You had to hunt the fastball yesterday against Bieber. What were the two big hits? Fastball down and away. Through the snowflakes, Miguel saw it. Jacoby Jones fastball up and in. RBI double, 2-run home run for Miguel. Because that guy had his A game yesterday, but the Tigers had a game plan and they stuck to it, even with the 12 strikeouts. They made him work harder than they had in any of his previous 5 starts, probably, or at least 5 of the 6. So that was the significance of that game to me. All that preparation, all the, to talk about how we're going to win today. But here's the plan that we have in place to help you win today. And it's pretty impressive, and they followed it to a T.
I love it. Talking to Dan Dickerson, voice of your Detroit Tigers. Now, with that, since we're in Michigan and we have the gambling, the over-under for win totals is 68.5.
Make them pick.
So what you're saying to me, and I'm going to use some of D-Mac breaking down Dan Dickerson speak, is that going into every game this year, they're going to have a game plan on how to attack, and if they stick to that game plan, it's going to be hard for them to lose 100 games. So I'm going to go with what I saw yesterday, what I hear from you, because it's all about the little things. And I know over all day. I mean, it's 71. I mean, they're going to win by
in the 70s.
By
in the 70s.
But that's not too far away if we see that consistency. And it's not the wins, but the way they attack the game and attack these pitchers that have sort of owned them, right?
Are they more competitive day to day? I mean, it's going to be led by pitching and defense. I mean, that's how you get more competitive day to day. Indians are going to be competitive this year. That's not a very good-looking offense. But you know what Terry Francona teams do? They don't let you score runs because they're really good. Even with all the pitching they've lost, they're really good at developing pitchers, and they don't give 90 feet away very often. So, yeah, I'd take the over. Absolutely.
I like it. And you know what you said last week or when we were talking or whatever about aggression on the base pass, and you saw that on Jones's double.
Reyes
right, first to third, but, play at the plate and all that. I immediately thought of you bringing that up. And when you see that the guys are all on one page, it doesn't matter whether they win or lose. It's going through to try to execute, and I loved everything I saw from, the biggest thing was Miggy running out, not knowing if it was a home run and taking a chance and sliding into second base. I mean, that's engaged. I mean, Maz even said he's on pace for 162 home runs and a Gold Glove because that play up first was sick yesterday too. So I like it. So
all right, we've got our first on pace for. I love it.
You love that, Maz?
Come on, man.
Already had that.
I paced that right out, Dan. I paced that right out. How about the bullpen yesterday? Cisnero, Norris, and then, of course, Soto, a shaky ninth. Do we look at a better bullpen this year?
I think so. I was kind of surprised that A.J. Hinch used Soto in the ninth. I thought he might ease him into that role just because last year when he got pushed into the eighth and ninth, that's when he started to struggle a little bit more. But, hey, A.J. knows his guys better than I do. And I think that he was trying to, all right, you said you wanted the closer's job. You had a great spring. You had to show that you could throw more strikes, and he was great, throwing more strikes, quick innings in the spring. We're going to give you this first shot. And I bet he gives him another shot because it was a struggle, and he did not throw as many strikes as he did in the spring. So, all right, learn from it and go forward because that's absolutely a closer in the making. Bullpen, I'm really intrigued by. I mean, if you look at it on paper, you go, okay, that's got some possibilities. But there are many bullpens every year that if you go back to the start of the year, they're one of the top 3 bullpens. You go, that didn't look like a great bullpen going into the year, or there's certainly some question marks. I think this could be a very, very good bullpen just because of the variety of arms they have, how they're going to use them. Daniel Norris is going to play a big role. A.J. Hinch talked about it all spring. The changeup that Daniel Norris has to get out righties, it's going to be a big factor, and that's why they're going to use him in all different roles. What did he do? He got in trouble yesterday through a changeup to Franmil Reyes, get double play to end the inning. Franmil Reyes is the guy who's killed the Tigers.
Yep.
So I think they really know how to use what they have. If they didn't have much to work with, it'd be, but they've got something to work with, and I think they've got very specific ideas about how to use each guy in different roles on different days, but they got very specific parts of the lineup they want them to match up against series to series. I think it's going to be a plus.
And tomorrow, of course, Dan, the big game, our fantasy game against each other. I've got Plesac, you've got Tehran. Who do you like tomorrow?
Well, I just the biggest thing is to me is it's kind of like Matt Boyd on opening day. You just watch Tehran because he was terrific this spring. Last outing wasn't good, but he's been pounding the strike zone. He could lead this staff along with Matthew Boyd in terms of how he pitches, how he uses his pitches. He's not a big power pitcher, but boy, does he know how to get guys out. And that's going to be a big influence, I think, even though they're very different styles on Skubal and Mize, the younger guys, they will watch Tehran and realize, okay, there's a reason this guy made 30-plus starts 7 years in a row. And I think he's going to be big. So I look for him to have a good outing because I think he can be a big piece in the rotation.
I wanted you to talk about our duck ball league. That's why I brought that up. You have Tehran. I've got.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody really wants to hear about our fantasy baseball team, Sammy.
I thought Darren wanted to know.
I was interested. I was the one person actually in the room and paying attention to see because I hope that every game and every time you have to come on, you have to update us with,
not a chance. Not a chance.
Hey, Pilar says you look like somebody very familiar in the NFL. Can you guess who it is?
Well, Pete Carroll. I get that in Seattle when I go there.
Tell her.
I was going to say 100%. You could probably pass as him.
I love it, Dan. We love you, man.
You're 20 years younger, though, Double D. So there you go.
Hey, Dan, have a great season. We'll talk to you, brother.
All right, guys.
Have a good call tomorrow.
All right. Thanks so much, Dan.
Dan Dickerson.
All right.
Yes, make sure you can check him out on his social media.
That's a good call by you.
Dan_Dickerson. He really does.
He does.
But I'm always like, oh, that person looks just like this person.